Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Adam Interviews, where we are talking with folks who are doing noteworthy things in our community. You might remember on Monday, I interviewed Bob Hartman. He is the co-owner of Alt Bar, not far from here, up on Winton in the North Winton Village. And we talked about the trends that are occurring. A lot of people are drinking less alcohol or no alcohol, but they still want that experience. They love the idea of going out, meeting with friends, and Alt Bar is there to kind of meet that demand. At the same time, right when I was talking with Bob, another gentleman, Art Rogers, posted a Facebook post talking about how his restaurant Lento, he's the chef and owner there, is adapting as well, not just to that change, but other changes in the industry. And it caught our eye in the newsroom, and we thought we got to get Art here, and that's exactly what we did. So with that, Art, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So the post basically was a note to your customers, and essentially, what did it say?
So, yes, well, we were closed the first week of January. So, reflecting on 2025, I thought I would write something out based on what we experienced in 2025. And you mentioned a couple already, but the trends, for lack of a better word, were the economy is not great. We saw a huge drop in sales in 2025. I'm assuming I'm attributing it to that. Also, there seems to be a loneliness epidemic. People want to go out. They don't know where to go. They want to meet other people, not online, not on social media, like in flesh and blood. And then, as you mentioned, no ABV or low ABV drinks that aren't just a ginger ale. So you can go out and still feel like an adult and have something cocktail or wine-esque without the alcohol or a much lower version of it.
So why I thought this was particularly significant is that when I came back into town in 2011, we did not have the number of, I don't know how to put it, high scale restaurants, if that's the right word.
Upscale, sure.
Excuse me, upscale restaurants that we have now. It was really Lento, which I think opened in 2007.
Correct.
2007, and a couple others. And my wife and I were very much into the culinary scene, so we went to Lento, and we absolutely loved it. And I think it's over in Village Gate if you want to give it a try. That was kind of its a reputation is upscale, and you noted that in your letter to your customers. And yet what you're saying is you're going to try and blend that reputation because you are a world-class chef. You've been nominated for a Beard Award, while also making it affordable. What does that look like?
Well, it was less challenging than I thought it would be. Most things actually, were able to just simply lower the price and leave the portion the same. It really just came down to portions, to be honest with you. Like I said in the letter, we are farm to table. I'm very committed to sustainability. I care very much about agriculture, farming, and quality and where your food came from, and I will not compromise on that. Some things we just had to adjust the portion to meet the price. We didn't have to get rid of anything. And we just wanted to maybe change people's perceptions of Lento as a special occasion type of place to a place that would be more in your regular rotation of restaurants you go out to, on the weekend, or just if you're a person that goes out once a week, we could get into that, and it wouldn't be such a financial commitment. So that was really where my thoughts went. And you just hear the economy's so bad, it's easy to cut. Going out to dinner could be the first thing you cut out. It's obviously not a necessity, like most things are. And you hear on the news, everyone's like, we have to raise prices, because our prices are going up. And I just sat down and thought, like, what if I flip this on its head and try and do the opposite? Which is a risk. If I'm hoping it'll bring in more customers because it'll make it more affordable, but If it stays the same, then obviously our margins are going to be even lower with
Yeah.
the same amount of people coming in. But so
It's interesting. And then in addition to that, the smaller portions also accommodate those who are going out by themselves, who, like you said, who might be feeling lonely, or they just like going out by themselves and they don't feel like they get a shareable plate in front of them.
yeah, that was another trend that I had heard in 2025. It seemed like since COVID, people dining alone seems to be a trend on the rise for restaurants. It would be pretty rare to have a diner come in and sit at a table by themselves. Of course, you get solo diners at the bar. That's fairly common. But now we see it pretty frequently. So I was like, well, maybe this is a thing. And that was part of the catalyst that made me want to make it more inexpensive and the portions more reasonable, not so large, where someone could be like, well, I want to go out to Lento and I want to be able to dine on get a salad, get an app, get an entree, get a dessert. But I'm going to be way too full, like even take the money out of it. So I redesigned it so someone could come in and have that experience and not leave just feeling overly stuffed or with a humongous bag of leftovers.
You're known for your seafood. I'm guessing that's still a large part of the menu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, yes.
That's great. And
Yep.
so you talk about local sustainability. Where do you shop? Where do you get your food from?
I get virtually all my seafood from Great Ocean Seafood on North Street, right here in Rochester, Stone's Throw from the Village Gate. They do a really nice job. We get all of our raw oysters through them. And I use an app called the Monterey Bay Seafood Watch. And you can go on that and it can show you your seafood, and it's rated either green, yellow, or red. Green being like this is okay, yellow being like this is okay, but it's somewhat problematic, and red is avoid. So I try to use that when I'm purchasing my seafood to account for the sustainability aspect of it.
You're not that far from the public market. Do you get a lot of your vegetables there? How do you source your vegetables?
Yeah, 3 days a week I'm at the public market, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I also have a farm called Bedient Farm that sells meat, and they have an offshoot called Finger Lakes Farm Fresh that sells produce as well. Obviously, it's not a great variety in January in Western New York, but I'm still getting some things, and I do cheat a little, getting some more green, fresher things in here in the winter months.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And just so folks know, Art, you're a local boy, I believe a Menden grad, if I'm not mistaken.
Class 96.
There you go.
Yes.
A Viking. I'm Knights 99, but we'll forgive you.
Yeah.
What turned you on to cooking?
Well, I studied hotel restaurant management in college at the University of New Hampshire and just found myself drawn more to the back of the house, to the kitchen and culinary side of it. So I got the business background of running a hospitality business, but I really wanted to focus on cooking. I worked at a restaurant called Primo, 2-time James Beard winning restaurant in Rockland, Maine, and that's really where I learned how to cook and adopted this style of farm-to-table cooking, and then brought it back here to Rochester and opened in 2007, and still trying to continue that trend.
How did you leave Rockland, Maine? That's such a beautiful part of the world.
That's a great question. Rochester is a great part of the world too.
It is. It is. Listen, I left Fort Collins, Colorado, so another wonderful part. So going to that other part that we talked about of this conversation is a trend, not necessarily away from alcohol, just a different relationship with alcohol. I think some people think NA, well, you're totally sober, and for some people that's true. Or you're like me because some medication I'm on, and also just lifestyle choice. Trying to mix it up a little bit more. What do they call it? Zebra.
Yes.
Where it's like you might have a drink, an alcoholic drink, and then you have an NA drink, and then an alcoholic drink.
Sure.
And I know nothing about the restaurant business outside that I like going to restaurants, but I've always heard that it's the booze where restaurants make their money. Why don't we talk about if that's true, and then if it is, what type of impact has this had on your business?
So I had a feeling I'd get this question at some point, and the short answer is yes. Like the margins are good on alcohol for a restaurant or on beverages in general. We have never had like a huge bar scene. We've always had more of a relaxed dining atmosphere with a couple like sharing a bottle of wine or getting a glass of wine or a cocktail. So I think for us, it's a little bit easier because we never really relied on a super busy bar, driving our revenue. I could see this trend of less alcohol being a problem for restaurants or bars that were used to being five deep, people drinking $16 cocktails, and then that cuts in half. That would be problematic. But since we never got that, I'm not really missing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Still, though, you are making changes to, even if it hasn't been a financial problem to the degree that others have seen, it appears from your note that you are going to be changing some of the offerings, increasing offerings. What does that look like for you?
So yeah, we just I guess increasing would be the right way to
Yeah.
to frame that. We created a menu of low and no ABV cocktails. We brought in a non-alcoholic prosecco. The name's escaping me, but it with a blindfold on. I was very skeptical when I tasted that. I was like, "This is gonna be terrible." It actually tastes quite good.
Yeah.
And then we have a great bar staff there that we've always had really good non-alcoholic cocktails. And people drank them, but now that it's becoming more and more of a trend, people are like, you really need to promote this. Like, these are so good. And so we just sort of, I guess, made it a little more visible on our menu and using social media to let people know this is a place you can go to get something delicious and adult without it having to be alcohol, or with it being low or alcohol free.
And you're coming into that with experience of your own, not just what you like and what's good out there, but also the mentality. You were saying again in your Facebook post that you have started your own journey into sobriety. And does that inform some of your approach here?
Well, yeah, yes. I'm pretty hands off with my bar. I have a great staff, so I sort of like gave them I guess I gave them the direction of this is obviously a trend. Like, anyone that follows anything knows that people are drinking less. So, had I still been drinking alcohol when this happened, I don't know where my mind would have been. But it's a lot easier for me to see how much this makes sense after being sober for 6 years.
And how has that been for you, especially in
Great.
the restaurant business?
Great. It was hard to stop, but it's I'm much more focused. I'm much more efficient. I feel really good every day, and for me, it was the right choice, and it's been great.
Do you feel some, not relief, do you feel some excitement in the possibility that you could be part of another person's journey into that as well? Because now you're offering them a welcoming environment where they can still get the pleasures that they had before without having alcohol.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Plenty of room for everybody on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said the menu didn't really change. I'm a bit surprised. I mean, outside of the portion, because some of the bigger things that are on menus are pricey, whether it's great fish, great steak, things like that.
Sure. And I mean, take steak, for example. We've always served local grass-fed steak, and for that one was the biggest change of anything we really had to make on the menu. And I basically just cut the portion in half. I the risk of sounding unpopular, like I don't know how much longer people are going to be eating like gigantic portions of steak. I mean, it's just going to become unaffordable, if anything. And I don't have any issues with eating meat or eating beef, as long as you know where it came from and know how those cows were treated. And then we cut it in half, and we're like, this is an extremely reasonable dish.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh God, people are going to be like $35 for this. Like, it's a hearty portion, to be fair. And you know, everything else we just tightened up a little bit. I don't think you're gonna sit down and feel that about any of our dishes, that you know you're getting 2 bites for something. It's everything is still very generous. Just scale back a little bit, a little more reasonable.
Yeah. I have to say I find myself grateful for that because I am a member of the Clean Plate Club. You know, clean.
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
sure your
yeah.
plate's clean, and
That's
I do. I mean,
That's the
whatever
goal.
whatever you put in front of me, I will eat. And there are times when it's a giant portion, and I'll just keep going until it's done, and then I'll go, oh my goodness, what did I do?
And you don't feel well.
No,
Your
and I'm like,
body's
why
telling
did I
you-
do that?
Right.
Because I eat
It's,
so quick too that it doesn't. There's not enough time for it to process and send the note up to my
Yes,
brain.
yes, I know. It's a bad habit. I don't even know if we can help it. I think we're hardwired to just, you know, feast or famine.
Yeah,
And but you know, the fact that you don't feel, and I also don't feel well, and you eat too much, like you want to feel good after a nice meal. You don't want to feel like you can't move.
yeah. And if you need more, you can order more. It's not like,
Yeah,
but
please
yeah,
do. Please
yeah.
order more.
Exactly. I understand. But I will be grateful that, especially if I do order steak, that afterwards I don't feel like I'm going to have trouble getting out of the chair.
Yeah.
So the oyster part of your business is very interesting. What made you decide to venture into that particular arena? Because I don't see many places around here offering it.
Well, I think you just hit the nail on the head. That comes from when I lived in Maine. There's hundreds of oyster farms up and down the coast, and I was in coastal Maine. And I love raw oysters and cooked oysters. But so we moved back to Rochester, like you said, there was not a huge variety of raw oysters. So it's like, all right, well, let's give some people some variety. And it went over well. Oysters are one of those things, people love them or they hate them. No one's like, I kind of like them.
It's so true.
Yeah. So people who love them, want to eat a bunch of them because, there's not much to one oyster. So then we did the dollar oyster nights on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And
Are those still around?
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're still our busiest night of
Is
the
it
week.
Wednesday? Darn it.
Tuesday.
Okay. No,
Tuesday.
I know. I was
Oh,
saying
yeah. Yeah, it's still our busiest night of the week. So if you like raw oysters, we offer at least 6 varieties on Tuesday for
Yeah.
$1 a piece, and it's a pretty fun night at Lento. There's a good vibe in there on Tuesdays.
Yeah, I could try some of that NA Prosecco
Yeah,
and some
yeah. There you go. Perfect.
some oysters. So you learned how to shuck then the oysters in Maine, I'm guessing, or did you know how to do that before?
Yeah, I don't know. That one's lost to history. I don't remember where I learned to shuck oysters.
I don't know
but
how
probably somewhere around that time. Yeah.
It looks dangerous to me. I don't know.
You learn how to not hurt yourself after a while. And you
After
become pretty
several
good.
times of hurting
after
yourself?
stabbing your hand, you learn that hurts, and you don't want to do that anymore. So then you stop stabbing yourself, and you become quite proficient at it.
Yeah, that's great. Where are your favorite oysters from?
My favorite oysters are from New England and the Atlantic Canadian provinces,
Yeah.
and then I also do like West Coast oysters, Washington, British Columbia. Completely different flavor, different taste, but I do enjoy those oysters, which we get on occasion, but it's pretty rare.
What's the difference?
It's a different species. So the ones on
wow.
the East Coast are very briny, taste like seawater, while the ones on the West Coast almost have a cucumber melon flavor to them, like almost a sweetness to them. So yeah, like night and day, you'd be able to tell with a blindfold on which one you're eating. Completely different flavor. And then I found people either love or hate West Coast oysters. Even the people that love oysters, they'll taste a West Coast oyster and be like, "This is not for me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both of them though.
I'll have to do a comparison. I do like the brininess of East Coast oysters. What's your favorite dish on the menu right now?
Favorite dish on the menu right now? We have a black cod. It's called sablefish. They market it as black cod from Alaska with a spicy yuzu miso glaze on it, sesame sweet potatoes, some broccoli with some nori, and some puffed rice on there.
What's nori?
It's a seaweed. It's like what you get your sushi roll wrapped up in.
Oh, okay.
So we just saute the broccoli with that and some garlic, and it's like a medium oily fish. It's not very strong, but like not mild like halibut or haddock. Very delicious.
That's great.
Yeah.
I might have to head into that, especially when I know it's under $35.
Yeah, there you go.
Village Gate's interesting too. So again, when I moved back to town, when I was in town, especially as a kid, middle school, Village Gate was a happening place. I mean, that was like,
Yeah,
that-
yeah, it was fun. Yeah, the comic book stores, and I remember.
you read,
yeah,
you read my mind. Yeah, we'd go to the comic book stores, we'd run around. And when I got back, it was still there. It just didn't have the zest that I remembered. Lento was there. I feel like there's life there again. Whenever I go now, the lights are on, especially the porch area outside of Lento between you and Selena's. There was one night in particular over the summer where people were walking by, people were at Selena's laughing, people were outside of Lento, and it reminded me of like an Italian piazza. Where I just can't think of many other places, and there were no cars, obviously, because it's its own little sectioned off area. There are many other places in Rochester that are like that.
You're right. The Village Gate could have gone in either direction when I moved in 2007, and my landlord at the time, Gary Stern, who has since passed away, that was a very intentional vision by him. He wanted to have the whole courtyard surrounded by restaurants. And when I first moved in, I'd say about half of it was retail. And over the years, he moved the retail out and made it so it was just restaurants. All of them had a little bit of outdoor seating to create exactly what you just described. His vision was more of like walking down the street in New York City with like the outdoor dining, but yes, very much that was his vision that he was going for, that what you just described. And yes, people love it. I love it. I think he's done a really good job. And I think that helped, like I said, the Village Gate at the time could have gone in either direction, and now it's become a destination. With all there's 6 or 7 restaurants in there now.
That's so interesting.
And we're all a little different. And so, I'm a firm believer of if it brings anyone down to the Village Gate, if they're going to Selena's or the Gatehouse and then they're like, Lento, well, I've never even heard of this place. They're like, oh, we got to try this the next time we come down, and vice versa. It's, I think, getting the word out there that all these restaurants in there is good for all of us.
What would be fun I should do like some oysters and that NA Prosecco at Lento, go for, I don't know, something at Selena's and maybe end at Gatehouse for dessert. Like you could probably make a little night of that.
Sure.
And now you got the wine place right across the street too.
Yep, the Carnegie Cellars, and Good Luck is right stone throw down the alley. So it's a nice little culinary destination in the neighborhood of the arts for people looking to go out.
And the Mag is right there.
Yeah.
That's so interesting that, what, Gary Stern, was that his name?
Yep.
Yeah, that he had this vision and he actually saw it out.
Yeah. Yes, it's great.
Yeah. Do you see a slowdown in the winter months?
No, actually, I mean, in January, yes. The winter is okay. The spring and the fall are the busiest, and actually the summer is the slowest months.
Really?
Because people are on vacation. Everyone is out of here. So especially on the weekends, we see a big drop because people are going to the lake. They're going to the Finger Lakes. I'd be going there too if I could.
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah, people are really surprised. And you're like, yeah, the summer really drops off. Then you talk to those restaurants down in the Finger Lakes, or if you have a restaurant on Lake Ontario, they're packed.
They're booming.
They're packed. So, it's that's how it goes.
That makes sense, I suppose, as long as they stay in the area. I don't know why people vacation outside of the area in the summer. I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful places that they go to, but like that's our prime. That's when we shine.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't leave. Like I might go to Allegheny State Park, but I'm still like in the region.
Same. Sure. Yes.
You go to Allegheny State Park too?
No, but I stay in the region.
Right.
In the summer, yeah. Like we're going to go visit my parents in Florida in February, and that's when you want to go to Florida.
Exactly. Exactly. When you can actually escape. Although we went to go visit my dad in Florida 2 weeks ago, and it was 54 degrees.
Oh God!
I was like, "Thank you, Florida."
Yeah.
But you know what? It wasn't 20.
Yeah, there you go.
So the NA options, by the way, going back to that because I'm super curious about it. The one thing that Bob Hartman said is in order for people to pay decent money for this stuff, you have to take the drinks seriously. And it can't just be juices mixed together and no alcohol. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, are people expecting obviously well made, but like, are they expecting to bring in all these different ingredients that are out there, or are you kind of making stuff up as you go here?
Yeah, so I think my bar staff, he's 100% right too. And like getting this NA Prosecco is just another tool in the toolbox because, lots of great cocktails are
That's
made
true.
with a splash of sparkling wine.
Yeah.
So now you add that adds some flavor. We've experimented a little bit with NA liquors, but I think they're still in their infancy.
I agree.
They're getting there. And then the NA beer scene has exploded. Like, I picked the right time to quit drinking. Like when I started, there was, I think Athletic was like the only one besides Old Duels.
Old Duels, yeah.
And now, like you go to Wegmans and they got a whole wall of NA beers, and it's great. I get a different one every week or two, and they're all really decent. Really, really good.
What's your favorite?
What's my favorite one at the moment? I do like that Athletic one. I don't know if it's just nostalgia is not the right word, but that was the first one I had that actually like tasted like a bit like I used to love those IPAs, and I tasted this like, wow, this actually tastes like an IPA. But just like any beer, it depends. Like if you're mowing the lawn, you want a light Pilsner, and in the winter you want something heavier. So I guess it depends more on my mood and what's going around to make that choice. But I haven't found very many that I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the ones where they venture off into like New England side, I don't think they got New England down yet. But the lagers are, just like Budweiser Zero, Bud Zero, or what are they?
I don't think I've had it. The Heineken, that would taste just like Heineken.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The Corona, you throw a little lime in there.
Yeah.
You don't even know the difference. It's funny, you mentioned mowing the lawn. I haven't voiced this to anybody, but I used to try to be cool and have like a little day drinking beer, 4.5% to mow the lawn. And, 2 hours into the lawn and just taking care, I'd be like, ugh. Kind of getting groggy and whatnot. I'd be like, why did I do that to myself? But I still want that. And the NA beer is just fantastic because I get that, but it's just hydrating me.
Yeah. If you want to watch the Buffalo Bills at 1 PM and you can just grab a couple NA beers and you're, like you said, you don't get groggy. Your day is still there and you can enjoy the game and still enjoy a beer.
Yeah. Speaking of the game, Saturday, 4:30, you guys are open. What's going to happen?
I don't know. Go Bills, of course. We're going to try and finagle some cell phone games, and we got some plans with computer screens, but we're going to be able to watch it and Spam-A-Lot's at the Auditorium Theater, so people are going to be going out if you have tickets to that event. We were all, doing our Buffalo Bills prayer dance that they would get a later game or a Sunday game, but it is what it is. Go Bills, go Bills.
I appreciate that sentiment. Before I let you go, Art, again, I want to let folks know Lento is over at Village Gate. I love it. My family's been going there for years. And if people want to make a reservation, what's the easiest way to do that?
You can go to our website and make one online, or just give us a call, 271-3470. You'll probably talk to me, actually.
Okay.
And I'll take your reservation. But, yeah, those are your two best bets.
All right. One-man band and Shucker.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Shucker extraordinaire.
A lot of work.
Art Rogers, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Adam. Great. It was great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Art Rogers talking with me about the changes happening at Lento in response to changes out there, whether it's prices or folks perhaps wanting some more non-alcoholic options. Obviously, great in the winter, but I just can't wait for those warmer months because Lento is one of the first things that comes to mind in that whole area, that courtyard. And obviously really cool to get the background behind what happened there and that how intentional that was. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Always appreciate your time. And please feel free to tell your folks about the Rochester First app. I'm not the only thing on here. We got Weather First Plus. We got Bills coverage, anything you can imagine. We are getting big and we're so glad that you're part of the ride. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.